So it was just recently my dad's birthday. We also got Father's Day coming up around the corner. And I was just looking at a picture we took together on his birthday. And I really just started thinking, like, God damn, this nigga was really fucking blessed in life. And he was blessed in so many ways. First, in the physical department, he got lucky for sure. You know, I don't want to gas him up too much in case he actually spends time watching these videos. I don't know, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I'm sure he could find them if he wanted to, but yeah, so I don't want to gas him up too much. You know, we're not going to put him at Chad level, but he has ideal height, ideal pheno, icy blue eyes. But it goes beyond that. You know, he's very gifted intelligent wise, like mentally, and this comes from my grandfather. My grandfather was a genius, and the IQ was diluted a little bit to my father, and then my father married, had me, so the IQ was diluted a little more, so I'm fucking retarded. But my grandfather was a genius. His IQ was extremely high. And my father was blessed in that department as well. But what separates my father from me, while we both are very competent, he is very neurotypical in such a great way. And I don't want to say I wish I was neurotypical, because I've explained in prior videos that I think the neurodivergence is more of a blessing than a curse. But I'm going to explain the nuance of this and why it depends how you look at it. I could be wrong about that. And we're going to get into that in a different way that my father is blessed, that a lot of regular folks happen to be blessed. But we'll get to that in a second. First, I just wanted to address the fact that he's very neurotypical. And beyond that, his friends all loved him. Like, my grandma was telling me when I went to visit her that my father was like the one guy that his friends would always call when they had problem, needed advice. They would always go to him. They would see him in times of stress. You know, he was the guy to figure things out. And my grandfather was the same way too. He like had that natural leadership-like quality. And yeah, he was just like a really good friend while being neurotypical. People just naturally gravitated towards him so much. He's very witty too. Like, he's just such a pleasure to have around. You know, like every time I go out to dinner with one of my friends' family and he's there too, like he'll always crack some witty joke, which is just like, you know, there's being a jester and then there's being witty, like being funny in an impressive way. And that's my father. Like, he's just effortlessly very witty, and it's very impressive. Like, he's very funny, and it comes from his intelligence, but his intelligence isn't making him like an autistic kind of intelligent the way it has for me. You know, I'm off the deep end, and while I've been competent enough to somehow become extremely successful at a young age, I'm definitely not neurotypical like he is. He's just gifted in that respect, that he's just a very normal person, a very like relatable person that people love having around. And also he's naturally very coordinated. He was really good at baseball when he played sports in school. He was really good at golf. And he wouldn't like practice like crazy amounts, like be obsessive, but he was just naturally really good. And even now, he barely has time to golf, but whenever he goes on a golf trip or whatever with his friends, he's usually scoring at the top. Like, he's usually performing the best. And like, if he hasn't been to a golf range in ages, but he just hops, picks up a club and goes to the range, he'll hit the ball like nearly over the net. It's crazy. He's just very naturally gifted. Now, not sufficient to be like a professional golfer, but all this like comes together to just be like a very well-rounded person. And above all, the way he's gifted the most is the way that this is where it gets tricky and difficult to accept or understand for fellow ambitious people. So obviously, he lived a regular life. He found, a wife that loves him, had a family, had me. He's a great father. Honestly, the best father. Like, I wouldn't want it to be any other way. We'll get into that too. But he was like a regular guy. He didn't need to do all this shit that I'm doing. And that's what's more impressive. And this is where I say it gets a little bit controversial, a little bit tricky for you other ambitious people, but this idea derives from Stoicism. I think Socrates was the first one who mentioned something about this way of thinking, because people are like, don't you want to live like Alexander the Great? Alexander the Great conquered all of the lands. He conquered everything. Don't you want to be like that? And Socrates was like, well, I've conquered the desire to conquer. And like, that's my father. Like, it's not that he couldn't, because he's smarter than me. He's more competent than me. He finds, like, sometimes when he sees my credit card bill for, like, my business charges, he'll spot things that I miss, like, you got double charged here, or this and that. Or whenever we're asked a riddle together, he'll always get to it before me, like, always. And that's the genetic dilution. So he's definitely got an edge on me, but he just doesn't have the desire to pursue something as ambitious and risk-taking as what I've done. So perhaps that ambition derives from my mother's side more. Well, it's hard to say that, because even my grandfather on my dad's side was very ambitious. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what it is, but he just didn't really have a desire to do anything too ambitious or crazy, because quite frankly, he just enjoys the regular life. Like, he's always in good spirits and always happy with just, being a good father and being a good husband and, having a beer and watching sports. That's it. Like, I always tell him, like, why do you waste all your days, like, watching football? Because I'm the complete opposite. I can't watch football unless when I was younger and I used to play it myself, but I can't watch football. I can't enjoy these non-ROI activities. And I would always tell him this. But after like understanding Stoicism, I'm starting to realize, like, damn, like he's really got it right all along. Like, he's conquered without even trying, he's conquered the need to conquer. And that's where he's truly gifted. He's not like some guy who lives with regrets, like he wishes he would have done that or whatever. No, he's just enjoying living a regular life. He was gifted in so many areas. And then I'm an only child. His one single son ends up being a fucking hyper successful millionaire by the time he's 20 years old. And like, turns out good, like, how much more blessed could you get in life? Like, it doesn't get better than that. And then he's a great father, and he's got great morals and great virtues, and I aspire to be like him in so many respects. And he didn't have to conquer the world. He didn't have to do all this. He didn't care about doing any of that. he just had a family, and then once I guess he had me, his life started becoming about me. And I think that's what happens when you become a father. Your life starts to transition to their life because you want to see your offspring do well. And yeah, so I was just thinking like, damn, this nigga really like got blessed in every single department. Even winning the fucking lottery of your kid. Like, you had one kid and he just turned out to be a fucking winner. And you know, I'm really not trying to gas myself, but just the facts, just being realistic, guys. Like, I bought this New York City penthouse when I was 23 years old. Got my first supercar at 19. And I'm not even materialistic. I just had so much fucking money coming in. I didn't know what to do with it. But I'm just trying to explain the facts that, like, I'm a little bit, you know, unordinary, all right? I'm not trying to brag. Like, it's just evident that I'm unusual. This doesn't happen very often. And my father just happened to be lucky enough to, yeah, like, I'm his son. Like, he conquered the, he didn't have to even try, but he conquered the need to conquer. And then if he ever had any interest in it, well, then he could just live vicariously through his son who's gonna fucking do it. This guy, like, damn. And you know, that's the interesting thing about like happiness. You know, happiness is relative. You know, it's, you can't just say like the billionaire is happier than the average guy watching football on his couch, because that is almost never the case, actually. It's such a nuanced thing that deserves a whole video in itself. But yeah, I was looking at this picture we took at dinner, and I'm just like, damn, this guy really he just won in life, you know? Neurotypical, just like blue-pilled guy, you know, good-looking, coordinated, intelligent, competent, but not neurodivergent, just like very neurotypical. All his friends love him. All his family looks up to him. Like, even his brothers and sister, like, they all look up to him. And like, he never even had to try. Like, he's just that guy. And I want to make it clear, I'm not jealous at all. Like, I'm just in admiration. Like, I'm just like, wow. God really just like bless this guy. And then yeah, so like, it's an interesting thing, you know, that was on my mind. And part of me also maybe kind of wants him to maybe come across this video. I don't know how much he keeps up with the Julius Perceiver persona, because I've got so many YouTube channels. It's hard for him to keep up. He does try. Like, he's a great father with that too. Like, he does try to keep up to date with whatever I'm doing. He tries to, you know, seem interested in anything I'm into, even if it probably bores him, which I appreciate. He tries to get into anything I'm into, and that means a lot to me. But yeah, I'm kind of hoping, you know, eventually, I don't know if he ever will see this. Maybe he will and he won't address it, but yeah. I hope I didn't gas him up too much, but yeah. Lucky guy. Some people are just born with a very lucky hand, you know? But who am I to talk? You know, I'm very grateful for what I've been gifted with. Even like the neurodivergence, like I said, it's more of a gift than a curse. Then again, maybe it's not. Then again, maybe who needs all this? Who needs to conquer it all? Nuance.